Hello ninth graders, welcome back to OnTrack. My name is Andrew Zivic, and in this module I will be talking to you about two very important subjects that are important not just for you as ninth graders but throughout your life, and those are discipline and conflict resolution. And we're going to start out by talking about discipline, and what discipline really comes down to is the power of choices. That your choices matter so much in your life. That's why you always have to think about, okay, why am I making this choice? Is it a good choice? Because people make judgments of you based on how you act, talk, what decisions you make. And that's why it's so important to make those good decisions when at all possible. What you will do, the actions and choices that you will make, they will speak very loudly about you. And they could block out what you have to say or other things about you that you're trying to get across to people because they've already sort of written you off or have an idea about you already because of those judgments they're making. And so that's why when you have those big moments come up where you're sort of on that precipice of should I make this decision or shouldn't, and you know in your head maybe it's not the right decision, maybe it's not a good decision, maybe it's even a bad choice. Know that choices like that, they can follow you. Even ones you make as a ninth grader, they can follow you. They have power, as we say at the top. It's the power of choices. Also remember, what you do or say or the actions you make, even when you think they might go unnoticed, they often don't. It might be the younger student sees you and someone who looks up to you and they see you make a bad decision and it says to them, oh, well, I can do that as well. Or an older student who thought, oh, maybe I'll mentor this student. But then they see you making a decision that they don't like and they sort of write you off, or a teacher or another adult in your life. So think about that. Think that other people are watching and looking at you to see the decisions that you make. And then also, because this is a program that's about college and career readiness, when it comes to decisions that you make, even now as a ninth grader, if they go on your record and then a college admissions officer sees that in 4 years, they could see that and see it as a red flag against you, and it could maybe hurt your chances to go to the school that you want to go to. So keep all of that in mind when you're making choices. So how do you stay out of trouble? How do you be disciplined? Well, first, just sort of simple things in everyday life. Have manners and be polite. Those pleases and thank yous can go a long way, so have manners. Find positive influences, and connect with good role models and mentors. These are so important. Having other positive people around you and to look up to for when it comes time for you to make tough decisions is so important in your life. And so that's why I say these two things about finding positive influences, role models, and mentors is going to be such an important part of your life, and why in OnTrack, we will talk to you about what it means to find a mentor, what a mentor is. We'll talk to you about that later because they're really important people in your life. And then also in general, especially if you have good instincts, trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, if you're in one of those situations where you could make a good choice or a bad choice, and the bad choice doesn't feel right to you, it says, okay, that's not going to be a good choice, that's going to hurt me in the long run. Well, you're probably right. Your instincts in that situation are probably right. And then also, just in general, be good to yourself because you are going to make mistakes. I'm 29. I still make mistakes often. Everyone, adults, children, adolescents, whoever you may be, is going to make mistakes. The key is to be able to forgive yourself and then try to make sure you say, okay, I made that mistake now. I'm not going to make it again. If you keep making the same mistakes over and over again, that's when people, again, make those judgments about you of, oh, well, this kid's never going to change. They always do the same thing over and over. So that's where you want to, if you make a mistake, forgive yourself, move on from it, and then say, okay, how can I do better the next time? That's really important, doing better the next time. Before I go into the slide on conflict resolution, just want to say the college keyword for this module is Ursinus College. Again, that is Ursinus College. So conflict resolution. The most important part of conflict resolution throughout your life is don't let emotions get the best of you. I cannot stress that enough. That is so important because that's really when conflict often arises. You let that anger or that disappointment or whatever it may be get the best of you, and then you fight with someone and you end up really regretting it in the long haul. So look at those positive role models that we talked about in the last slide. How do they deal with stressful situations and tough situations? How do they sort of not let those emotions get the best of them? But at the same time, do feel your emotions. Just make sure you're using them to your advantage, because one thing to consider is if you're angry or upset at a friend about something, that actually tells you that person is really important to you. You usually only get really angry or really upset with people who you actually care about, who are important to you in your life. So that should tell you, okay, well, I need to take a step back because this person is important to me. So I need to think, okay, why am I angry about them? Take that step back before I get into a fight with them. Now, you will have those people who just anger you and you don't actually care about them. But most of the people, especially as you get older, who will really be able to hurt you are the ones who are the most important to you. So you have to keep that in mind. That's why when you get into a situation where you feel like those emotions, that anger, that being upset might get the best of you, take a step back, take a bunch of deep breaths. Just try to let that stress out, even back away from the situation. It's so important not to deal with that stressful situation while you're feeling that anger. You want to sort of let that out first and then go back with a clear head and talk to the other person about what maybe is bothering you, about what they did or what you did that they then got mad at you about. So it's always important in these situations where conflict can arise to give yourself some time before you react. Even as adults, we get so angry and caught up in situations where we might send an email or a text or talk to someone face to face in a way that we know we're not going to be happy with later, and often sleeping on it or just taking some time to think about it is when it ends up being much better, where when we go back to it, it's a much calmer conversation. And that's when productive things happen, when you have those calm conversations instead of angry conversations. So I hope this was helpful in helping you think about the importance of your choices and how to deal with conflict. As always, if you have questions for us, send them to us at questions@uif.org. Thank you for joining me, and make sure you stay on track.